What has made this year frickin' phenomenal? Well, my wife and I did a boatload of traveling. Our son has developed so much, which has been the coolest thing to see my son go from this little blob of, just breathes and poops and sleeps to this thing that talks and has a personality and laughs and jokes and makes funny faces. That's been really fun to see him develop and to see him do it in a way that's really, how would I say this? Really natural. Our son's developed really natural. We haven't focused on trying to teach him much or make sure he learns certain things. I get kind of triggered when I see all these. This is what you do to make sure your kid has a great language and great textile abilities. And it's like, you really just need to give your kid a ton of love and a sense of security. And they pretty much figure out the rest on their own. We read to our son, but we're not trying to make sure he learns all the words and colors by a certain age. He's going to figure it out when he's got a calm nervous system and he feels solid. So that's been amazing. My wife and I went to Georgia, the country. I've never been to Georgia. We had an amazing ski trip there where I got to meet her family for the first time. They traveled from Russia to meet us there. We went to Russia, which was wild, to be going to this country during a war is like all these fears going through my head, wondering what it's going to be like, wondering if it was safe, wondering what people online would think about me for traveling to Russia. My wife is Russian, so we went to visit her family, and it was a wonderful experience. And it was a very cool place. I mean, political views aside, I really, really enjoyed being there. And while I was there, I had a crazy trip trying to go from Russia through Poland to France to watch the Olympics. I got to see LeBron James play. I got to see this Team USA play Serbia and Germany, and it was fucking amazing. It was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Something I always wanted to do. Spent a lot of money to make it happen. And it was one of those things, much like my personal development and the different things I've invested in. It's like, for the experience. And I would say, my wife and I, we don't own a home. We don't own much. We spend a lot of money on experiences, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm looking forward to building wealth and building all kinds of things. However, I know so many people look back on their life and they go, I wish I had less stuff and more experiences. I wish I had less things and more stories. Well, the only way we do that is by actually taking part in those experiences and risking ourselves, knowing it might not play out. I think that's why we buy things, because we're like, okay, I buy a car, I know what the car is going to be, I'm going to like the car. But if you pay for a trip, you don't know what the trip's going to be like until you're on it. You don't know how many bugs are going to be there, what the traffic situation is going to be like. You don't know what personal development's going to be like. Working with a coach, you're taking a bigger risk than purchasing a thing. However, most of the time when you take a bigger risk, you create an opportunity for a bigger payoff. Something I'm looking to encourage more and more people with. So this year's been full of highs and lows, and those are some of the highs that we've really, really loved. And I would say my wife and I have a deeper bond than we've ever had before, which is really cool to see our relationship evolve over the years. That there's still so many parts of it that feel new, and we've been together for 6 years. I think something that has also been really natural is our confidence as parents. When our little dude came home, we were pretty scared and confused and uncertain how to do a lot of things. And it's only a year and a half later, and we feel extremely confident about our parenting abilities. And that's a really cool feeling. So I encourage you to write some wins below in the comments. What's been wins for you? One thing that I do in my coaching is I help people highlight what's working for them. We can be pretty good at focusing on what's not working. We all have a negativity bias about us. So it takes an effort, it takes an extra attention to actually go, wow, I actually might have succeeded in a lot of ways, even though I might feel like a failure. I actually maybe took on things I didn't before, or was consistent with something that I attempted or was scared to attempt. There's a lot of things worth celebrating, and that can really motivate us and create more momentum towards greater and greater progress. So I encourage you to share what's been working for you. Spend a little time before this year ends to actually share what's working for you and how you've progressed, regardless of the ways that you might have also regressed. That's okay. It's part of our evolution.